Everyone has the right to information.
Yes, it is a right.
The law does not
Information, they say, is the oxygen of democracy.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Understanding the Freedom of Information Act, brought to you by Right to Know R2K Nigeria. In the previous episode, we established that the Freedom of Information Act is for me, for you, and for everyone. And we also agreed that one way of exercising this act is via information requests submitted to public institutions. The next logical question is what an information request should contain, and that is what we will be discussing in this episode. It is important to note that the Freedom of Information Act does not prescribe a format for an FOI application, except to say that an FOI application must be in writing, or where an oral application is made, the duty officer at the relevant public institution must reduce the oral application into writing. Now, while there is no prescribed format, experience has showed us that there is a need for ensuring the following information is contained in the written request for information. Every application for information must contain the following. Date is key when filing an application for information, especially the date on which the public institution receives the application. This is important for various reasons, but a primary reason is because the 7-day time limit within which a public institution must respond to your application commences once the application is submitted to the public institution. Secondly, you must include contact details, and this is to facilitate getting a response to an application. The applicant's contact details should therefore be included. The application should be addressed to the appropriate public institution. Now, this may sound superfluous, but it needs to be said that an application for information should be addressed to the institution which the request is being directed. Of course, and we will clarify more on this in the 8th episode, the receiving institution may transfer an application to another institution if it believes that the information sought is in the custody of that other institution. In the application, the information being sought should be described as clearly as possible in order to avoid any ambiguity or confusion. This should be specific in terms of the nature, the type or subject matter, as well as the time frame for the information you are requesting. So, do not say,
I want information about how the local government runs this market.
a better approach might be to say,
I request the records of income and expenditure of revenue from the waste disposal levy collected by or on behalf of the local government from January to August 2014.
in some instances, if an application for information is refused or the prescribed time lapses without a response, the applicant might desire to seek remedy through the courts. And some public institutions require a notice of 30 days before this may be done. For this reason, it may be expedient to include in the application for information a notice of intention to take legal action if the request is not granted. Now, when an applicant submits the letter of request, the applicant should take along a duplicate copy of the application and ensure that this copy is duly acknowledged and signed and dated by the receiving officer of the relevant public institution for reasons we have already discussed. Remember also that an oral application must be reduced into writing by the duty officer at the public institution. This should then be read out to the applicant to satisfy that the content of the written application tallies with the content of the oral application. The application should then be signed upon acknowledgement of its content by both the duty officer and the applicant, and the acknowledged and dated copy be given to the applicant.